FAT stands for File Allocation Table. It is a section of the disk used to store information, such as the location of all files, total memory, available space, used space, and so on. The FAT virus alters the index and makes it impossible for the computer to allocate the file. It is strong enough to force you to format the disk. In other words, it forces the operating system to execute malicious code that alters certain fields in the FAT file system. As a result, the computer cannot access certain sections of the hard disk where important files are located. As the virus spreads, several files or even entire directories can be overwritten and irretrievably. Worm. It is an autonomous malicious computer program that replicates itself to spread to other computers. A worm often uses a computer network for spreading, relying on security flaws in the target computer's system for access. Most worms are designed to alter content, delete files, drain system resources, or injecting additional malicious code into the computer. They can also steal data and install a backdoor, making it easier for attackers to control the computer and its system settings. Macrovirus. These viruses are written in the same macro language used in popular programs like Microsoft Excel and Word. They insert malicious code into macros associated with spreadsheets, documents, and other data files, causing the infected program to run immediately after the document is opened. Macroviruses are designed to damage data, insert words or images, move text, send files, the formatting of hard disks, or the transmission of even more destructive types of malware. They are transmitted through phishing emails. Overwrite viruses. These viruses are very dangerous. They affect a wide range of operating systems, including Windows, DOS, Macintosh, and Linux. They delete data partially or completely and replace the original code with their own. Once a file is infected, it cannot be restored, and you will end up losing all data. Moreover, viruses of this type can encrypt and steal your data. Trojan horse. A type of malicious program that infiltrates a computer disguised as software. Unlike viruses and worms, which spread on their own, this category includes programs that perform various user-unauthorized actions, collecting information about bunkers, transmitting this information to a malicious actor, as well as using, deleting, or maliciously altering, disrupting the computer's functionality, using the computer's resources for mining purposes. Multilateral virus. A multipartite virus infects and spreads in various ways depending on the operating system. It usually stays in memory and infects the hard disk. Unlike other viruses that affect either the boot sector or program files, a multipartite virus attacks both the boot sector and executable files simultaneously, causing even greater damage. Once it enters the system, it infects all disks, altering the contents of applications. Soon you will start noticing performance lag and the shortage of virtual memory available for user applications. Companion virus. Unlike regular viruses, they do not alter an existing file. Instead, they create a copy of the file with a different extension, for example .com, which runs parallel to the actual program. It can perform malicious actions such as deleting original files. In most cases, companion viruses require human intervention to further infect a machine. Resident memory virus. A resident virus lives in primary RAM memory and activates when the computer is turned on. It infects all files running at that moment on the desktop. Since the virus loads its replication module into main memory, it can infect files without being executed. It automatically activates whenever the operating system is loaded or performs certain functions. Directory virus. The directory virus, also known as a cluster virus, infects a file by changing the DOS directory information. It alters DOS so that it points to the virus code instead of the original program. When you run the program, DOS loads and executes the virus code before starting the actual program code. In other words, you unknowingly run the viral program while the original program is preemptively moved by the virus. After infection, it becomes very difficult to find the original. Polymorphic virus can infect any file. Polymorphic viruses encode themselves using different encryption keys each time they infect a program or create a copy of themselves. Due to the various encryption keys, it becomes very difficult for antivirus programs to detect them. In other words, this is a self-encrypting virus designed to avoid detection by scanners. Boot sector virus. These viruses embed their code into the hard disk partition table. After rebooting the computer, it enters the main memory. After infection, problems with loading, unstable system operation, and the inability to find the hard disk may occur. A direct virus. Actions. This virus quickly penetrates the memory, infects all programs, files, folders specified in the path autoexec.bat, and then deletes itself. It can also destroy data on the hard drive or USB connected to the computer. They usually spread when executing the file in which they contains. Until you run or open the file, it will not spread to other parts of your device or network. Script virus can affect any web page by injecting hidden code. Web script virus compromises browser security, allowing attackers to inject scripts into a web page and malicious code to modify some settings and take control of the browser. It spreads much faster than other common viruses. Typically, this happens through infected ads popping up on web pages. A logic bomb. This is a program that is triggered under certain temporal or informational conditions to execute malicious actions, typically unauthorized access to information, distortion, or destruction of data. Many malicious programs, such as viruses or worms, often contain logic bombs that trigger at a predetermined time, logic bombs with a timer, or upon certain conditions. For example, on Friday the 13th, April Fool's Day, or the anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster.
If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join
to my channel